E? Ja ovo nisam htio sad radim, ali eto. Meni se baš toliko ne žuri.
imao internet, a ja sam imao internet. Tako je što se toga tiče nisi ni malo zajedno. A kako brži? Navodno prije. Ajde vidimo se, da li je odradio.
Okay.
Murder itself, if you would like to continue.
Absolutely. So, when the first police officer arrived at the scene, they found the house normal. Candles lit, tub full of water, TV on, and more hauntingly, Nicole's children peacefully asleep in their rooms. The injuries on Nicole and Ron were consistent with an attack by a large, strong man, and autopsies revealed that Nicole was attacked first from behind.
Coward.
Yeah. Through reconstruction, they believe that Ron arrived during the attack on Nicole, which then turned the attacker's attention onto him. It is believed that the attack lasted no longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it seems like to me that Ron Goldman was definitely not like an intended victim of the crime. It was a very much a case of wrong place, wrong time for Ron. It seems like Nicole Brown Simpson was absolutely the primary target per se, the intentional target.
When police went to find Simpson to notify him of Nicole's death, they discovered that he had boarded a late-night flight to Chicago. The police took note of his car, which had blood smears across it, and when searching his property, they found the infamous bloody gloves. What ensued was what might be one of the most famous slow car chases in history. There's a warrant made for his arrest, and 5 days after the murder, Simpson drove down the LA freeway in a white Ford Bronco with police pursuing. Happening on June the 17th, 1994, over 95 million people watched news broadcast as it cut from the NBA final to his car chase. Simpson was in the back seat while his friend and the owner of the car, Al Cowlings, former NFL player, drove. Cowlings would claim that he was forced into the car with a gun, and Simpson wanted him to drive to Nicole's grave. Throughout the 2-hour-long chase, Simpson repeatedly threatened to end his life, holding a gun to his head while on the phone to police who were trying to convince him not to. The pursuit ended at Simpson's house, where he was completely surrounded by police. It is crazy that the footage of the chase was never actually shown during the trial. When arrested, police found a gun, his passport, a fake beard, and thousands of dollars of cash and checks on Simpson.
The fucking fake beard gets me every single time.
He actually went Looney Tunes mode on it with like the big nose and mustache. No, this is not O.J. Simpson. He went that way.
Yeah.
So their bodies were found dead on June 12th. 5 days later is when this car chase happens.
Yep. Shortly after Nicole's funeral, I believe. So it was it was a slow car chase throughout this freeway of LA, Los Angeles, and his friend was driving the car. Yeah, kind of a crazy situation in terms of how he was eventually caught. Doesn't that signify a bunch of like guilt though? If he was innocent, wouldn't he have just turned himself in initially?
Well, again, this was never about innocence or guilt at any point.
Okay, let's just review the case so far. Simpson had told her dozens of times to several witnesses, "If you're ever with another man, I'll kill you." They get divorced. She is found at her house, stabbed to death by a very strong man with a guy there who potentially the killer viewed as a suitor, maybe not. They go to tell OJ, and they find blood all over his car with bloody gloves that would later go on to match the blood of Simpson at his house. When they try to find him, he's attempting to flee the country, gets into a car chase with police, and threatens to kill himself over the phone. So, who do we think is most likely?
He's definitely a suspect in my mind. We can't know for sure.
I mean, just taking into account just the history of domestic abuse. Like, sadly, this is how most domestic abuse cases end up, progressing towards if they're not stopped. You know, it's kind of like the natural progression of domestic abuse and why it's such a enormous issue. So this is just the logical outcome of that, and yeah, it seems like just even disregarding all of the hard evidence in terms of, you know, DNA matches and stuff like that, it seems impossible to consider anyone else at this point, even just with this that evidence. It's crazy.
Well, put it this way, this is the only high-profile murder I can think of where once someone was quote unquote cleared, they never tried to investigate further. Think about it that way. Every other time someone's like, oh, there's evidence or they're found not guilty, they're like, all right, then who did it? And they keep searching. This is the only one after he was found not guilty. They're like, well, all right. Well, no more investigating.
That's so true. I never thought of that.
You found like not guilty and they're just like, oh well, it must have been nothing.
Well, the case is over. I guess no more searching for us.
Yeah,
we
they
did
just
them all.
de-aggro the NPCs. Must have been the wind.
Never has there been another murder case where once someone's not convicted, everyone quits looking for suspects. Like,
yeah, I didn't even consider that. You're right. It's like,
no.
Yeah, everyone knew. Anyway, now let's take a second to hear from the sponsors of this episode right now. Everyone agrees your health is important. That much should be obvious to everyone. But I get it, I struggle myself with actually following through on taking my health seriously. Part of that is actually going through the process of finding a doctor and setting up appointments and stuff. I just really struggle with that kind of thing. Like, it just slips out of my mind, basically, and I just ignore it, which is really bad if you're trying to take your health seriously. Luckily for you and me, ZocDoc is an incredible tool that makes it as easy as possible to book doctors. They take all the stress out of it completely. I've tried it myself, and it's super simple, and it cuts through all the noise and tedium of trying to find a doctor that works for you or for me in this situation. It's almost like a perfect doctor matchmaker tool, kind of like Tinder but for doctors without the romance. You can search by location, availability, and insurance, and there's no compromises at all to the quality of help that you'll receive. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. No waiting awkwardly on hold with receptionists. I hate that. I just want to hang up if it goes over 10 minutes long and I'm waiting still. I get that receptionists are busy, but Jesus Christ, I just want to book an appointment and be done with it. And you can do that with ZocDoc. You book them immediately through the site and it takes like a minute or two at the most. All the doctors have verified reviews from actual patients as well, so you can find your perfect match from the sea of tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists. You can also filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, or you can filter by the condition you're searching for. So if you're looking for a foot specialist, they make it super easy. You can just tag that in the search feature and you'll find a bunch of doctors who know a lot about feet. I really can't emphasize just how much easier this makes visiting a doctor, but it takes all the effort out of it. It's just super convenient. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is just between 24 hours and 72 hours. That speaks for itself, really, when you think about it. You're just in and out, basically. You can also commonly find same-day appointments pretty easily on the platform as well, so you could literally be in there on the same day you make the booking. It doesn't get much easier than ZocDoc. So, go to ZocDoc.com/redthread and download the ZocDoc app for free, then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/redthread, ZocDoc.com/redthread. Thanks for the help, ZocDoc. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. It's a great tool that helps people get into doctors that they need to see as quickly as possible. I highly recommend checking them out if you ever need a doctor or if you just want to checkups. Like, it is super important to take your health seriously in that way, so this makes it as easy as possible to do that. Now over to me to talk about some undies. It's MeUndies time, my favorite time of the week. You've probably heard me talk about them in the past by now, but it's for good reason. I love them so much. I am actually, honest to God, usually wearing MeUndies actively. Like, probably 5 out of 7 days of the week, I am wearing MeUndies. They are legitimately the most breathable underwear I've ever strapped to my crotch in my recent memory, at least. I am being 100% honest and serious right now. I actively do wear them. I show you if it didn't put us at risk for YouTube content strike. I am wearing them right now. In the Australian heat, I know I can rely on MeUndies for giving me comfort down there in this hot weather. It's so nice just having breathable underwear on. It really makes all the difference in the world. These are the pair that I probably wear the most, and as you can see, they come in super cool designs and prints. There's so many you can find on the site for yourself, so many designs. I know there's a really cool dinosaur one. Trust me, I saw that immediately. Really cool prints over on MeUndies website that you can find for yourself, so you can express yourself however you see fit. You can also just get super simple static colors as well, just like your black and your white and stuff like that, just like solid red if you want that. Those are also obviously available as well with MeUndies if you don't like print in general. They come in a bunch of sizes from extra small all the way up to 4 extra large, guaranteeing it'll feel comfortable on whatever body type you've got. MeUndies doesn't only sell undies, they've also got super comfortable joggers, hoodies, onesies, and their Move Me activewear collection is the softest activewear on the market, meaning that you can work out, you can go jogging, you can go running in comfort and in style with MeUndies. MeUndies is super comfortable, super affordable, and if you disagree with that assessment, but once you receive your MeUndies, you can send them back and it's on MeUndies, so there's no real risk there. You're going to love the MeUndies or you're going to get a refund. So get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/redthread. That's MeUndies.com/redthread for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, that's comfort from the outside in. I really do love MeUndies, but I also love you guys for hearing out the people that make the show possible, our sponsors. Thanks for your support, it really means so much to us. Now back to the OJ case, and I am certain that man has never worn a pair of MeUndies in his life. Okay, so we just got done talking about the murders themselves, like the events, you know, surrounding the murders, how that transpired to the best of our, you know, ability to you know, pass that information. And
it's really anyone's call who's responsible.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
Could be anyone. We should, hey, that white Akita, we should ask him some questions. What's his alibi?
Yeah.
Shows up with bloody paw prints.
He did have blood over him, so that's pretty
He did have
sus.
blood on him, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the trial itself now. The trial of the century, it's called. So Simpson was arrested the day after Nicole's funeral and was charged with the double murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, shockingly. On his second arraignment on July 22nd, 1994, he pleaded not guilty, saying, quote, absolutely, 100% not guilty. You know what, I believe him. That's pretty, that's pretty straightforward. So, again, let's quickly go over what evidence they had to supply the trial. So, number 1. Blood drops that contained Simpson's genetic markers were found at the rear gate of the property. When he was interviewed by the police, he had a deep cut on his finger, and I can show that on screen right now. You can see his bloody finger, as well as you know, just the cut itself. Point 2: Nicole Brown Simpson's blood was found on socks that were discovered in Simpson's bedroom. Pretty odd place for Nicole Brown Simpson's blood to be found, if you ask me. Evidence number 3, an extra large pair of Aris leather gloves were found, one at the crime scene and one at Simpson's guest house. The blood, again, according to police, had Simpson's genetic markers as well as the victim's blood on them. So kind of like a blood cocktail of both the victim and Simpson himself. Point number 4, a knit cap found at the murder scene had cashmere fibers that matched ones found on the glove found at the house, implying that they were both in the same place at the same time. The next one, fibers from Simpson's Ford Bronco matched ones found on the glove found at the house and the knit cap. You know, just further building this case that these things were all at the same place at the same time.
Whoever framed OJ did a really good job of
They went out of their way. They went out of their way. Incredible. All right, the next one. Bloody shoe prints were at both the crime scene and inside the Bronco. These were size 12 Bruno Magli, and in the civil trial to come, it was found that Simpson wore the same make and size shoe. For some reason, this evidence was also not used in court. I don't know why. I didn't find any reference to it being used in a court
really
setting.
good lawyers.
Yeah. Maybe it was inadmissible, or maybe...
yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, so next. Blue and black cotton fibers off a Ron Goldman's shirt were found on socks in Simpson's bedroom. But that doesn't mean anything. Simpson and Ron Goldman were
Ron Goldman, this man he never met.
Yeah, they were good
shirt
friends.
fibers were found on bloody clothes in Simpson's house.
That doesn't mean anything. Alright, most importantly, the most crucial element of evidence, usually, O.J. Simpson took a polygraph test. And although these can be unreliable, his results were a, quote, total failure and minus 24 points, which indicated a dishonest reading for whatever that's worth with polygraph tests. Obviously, those aren't like super admissible, but, you know, when in combination with everything else, may as well throw it in there.
Yeah.
And then finally, a witness was produced who allegedly saw Simpson in his Bronco on the day of the murder and saw him drive away from Nicole's house, directly placing him at the crime scene at the time of the crime. This evidence was not used in court, however, as she received $5,000 to tell her story to Hard Copy, which is a publication. She has later said that she regrets doing this. Which, this is what I mean again, like, this story is full of so many awful people that nearly everyone in this fucking case sold their story and like, published their own books and stuff. Like, it was just everyone looking out for themselves. And no matter what happened, like, to the actual information or justice, it was never about that. It was like, how can we profit from this? Everyone.
To be fair, though, it still would not have changed the outcome of the trial.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't know that.
No, she didn't, of course not. But looking back on it, it would not have changed how this played out.
Yeah. All right, so now I'll go over the judge. So the presiding judge over the case was Lance Ito, or Ito. Judge Ito made the decision to allow the trial to be televised, which some have claimed is one of the worst moves in American judicial history. How do you guys feel about that, like court cases being, you know, televised?
I'll go first here. I think in the modern landscape, it's very beneficial to have these trials be broadcast. I think it's very helpful in having a lot of these broadcasts, but back then, I could see why it would be a pretty bad decision, because TV and like all of that being televised had a much different prestige than it does now. So it could absolutely change the way things get handled by people on the case, knowing that it's being seen.
I have a more balanced take. I think that it should be filmed and released after the fact. I think you get the best of both worlds then. People can watch it to confirm that justice actually happened, and you know, it's in the public's best interest to do so. But then it's also kept private up until, you know, the conclusion is finalized, so that no kind of political opinion sways what happens, which is what I think happened here.
That's really smart. Yeah, I think that's a really good way of meeting in the middle. The main thing is just making sure we have the ability to see what happened during a trial. I think is extremely important.
I 100% agree with that.
Let me ask this, because I haven't really thought about this before, but I'm interested in your...
Okay, that's it. Well,